Hi, I'm Cath Brands. I am from New Zealand originally, but I'm currently based in Australia, but I've lived all over the world from Luxembourg to London to Seattle to Sydney, and now home in the tropical warm climate of Cairns. I'm the Chief Marketing and Innovation Officer for a company called Flintfox, and Flintfox is an intelligent pricing and rebates software company. And so we help organizations with really, really complex pricing and rebates to streamline the administrative burden so they can be more focused on high-end tasks and let the wonderful software run in the background so that they can maximize their margins and their profits on a daily basis.
I wanted to ask two questions for you today. First is, what sparked your interest in marketing? And as the CMO of the company, what is your current main marketing focus?
So I think by default, I'm sort of a creative person by trade. And so although I'm not talented at drawing or singing or anything artistic, what I do appreciate is really good storytelling. And I think what brings together the visual storytelling and words of storytelling in a career is marketing. And I've been now at this for 25 years and really starting to show my age. But I'm passionate about marketing, and I think great marketing is all about good storytelling or great storytelling, whether it's visual or even if it's just those pithy little words you see on the bottom of a billboard that makes a person think, feel, and do and act in a particular way. And, you know, the things that I'm really focused on at the moment, so I've transitioned from a B2C marketer to a B2B marketer, and I can tell you they're two completely different worlds. As a B2C marketer, I was very focused on, you know, brand vanity metrics, for lack of a better term. So brand love, brand health, brand for me, all the things that made a person, you know, think, feel, and do in the moment to adapt or buy a brand. And the B2B space is very, very different, right? So the big focus as CMO of Flintfox is generating demand in order to get as many customers in the top of the funnel that then, you know, whittle themselves through over a process to then become a lifelong customer. And then the other thing for me, though, which is something I feel very, very passionately about, is around turning marketing into what is perceived as a cost center into a value center. And I really believe that marketing is an absolute instrumental part of every single business because we touch so many parts of an organization. And without us, you don't really have an identity or know who you are. And therefore, you can't go out to customers and tell them what you do and what you're about and how you're going to help them to solve their problems. And last of all, you don't really have a song or a story, right? And that's one of the things I think is so important when it comes to marketing these days. Yes, it might cost money to go out and generate demand, but without us, you have no value as an organization or as a company. And so turning marketing into a value center is something I feel so, so passionately about.
I love it. You said it all: storytelling and value centering. Is that correct?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Those are really nice, words that ultimately kind of define the scene that we're dealing with, that we're working with every day. I wanted to dive deeper and then ask you, can you tell me about a particularly innovative or successful marketing campaign your team has recently executed?
Yeah, absolutely. So I operate in what can only be described as a somewhat beige category. You know, the people who kind of operate in our space in terms of pricing, it's pretty technical, and pricing is the backbone of every company, but pricing is not content that people really want to listen about or really want to hear about. But I know that, 95% of people, decision makers, are watching video to help them better understand and make decisions around what products or services they should be bringing into their businesses. So knowing that video is an absolute key part of this, and knowing that pricing is important, but trying to add a lovely storytelling narrative around pricing, we started a series about 18 months ago now, and it's called Power to the Pricing People. And Power to the Pricing People is a fortnightly vlog that I host, and it is a roundup of all the pricing news across the globe. It could be the impact of Beyonce on the Swedish economy when she came to town with her concert that increased hotel rates by 50, 60, 70%. Or it could be down to the fact that manufacturers are facing a lot of issues right now when it comes to cost of goods and managing their costs because of the ongoing supply chain disruptions and just everything in the way that the world has been turned upside down since our friend COVID hit in 2020. But this series, Power to the Pricing People, is fun. It's quick. It's 2-minute little videos that we post on social media. And it's done with a fun beat to it, a fun tone with lots of imagery around it to kind of democratize pricing, make it more accessible. And since we launched this campaign, like I said, 18 months ago, we've increased our LinkedIn followers by 50%, right? And so I'm the host of the series. We write these wonderful scripts, and now I'm actually using an AI avatar to produce these videos. So what you won't know is when you see one of these videos, it's actually an avatar of me. And we've gone from having to pay to produce these videos on a fortnightly basis to doing it all for free with the power of AI. So it's really, really exciting. It's really interesting. And it's also extremely cost effective now, thanks to the help of AI.
I mean, it is revolutionary now how much time you can save, how much energy you can spend on other things because you've been using tools the correct way. And I love how you talked about bite-sized content, because this is something that's really important in this generation also, how this content is very much needed, but having it in bite-sized portions make it more kind of like acceptable or very easy to access for everyone. Now, I know it doesn't go to say that there are no challenges, which is why my next question for you is, what are your biggest marketing challenges at the moment?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, I kind of summarize it into three things, I should say: time, money, and measurability beyond, the normal digital media metrics you can do. So, time is of the essence. Everybody's short on time. That's not a new one. Money is something, marketing goes back to being one of those centers that we are known as a cost center rather than a value center. And so every time a company is trying to get squeezed, what's the first thing to go? It's the marketing budget. So trying to find the tools to enable you to save time and save money are things that I'm sort of really focused on, and also my biggest challenge at the same time. And the last one is around, measurability that I talk about. So yes, when you do paid display, when you do SEO, when you do SCM, you know the metrics, right? You know who clicked, how much that cost you, what they've gone on to do. So you've got a very, very clear value chain. But that's one dimension of the marketing mix. The marketing mix is so many other things. It's events, it's awareness, it is things like this, being on a podcast, it can be power to the pricing people, content that you produce. The measurability and how that flows into the funnel is something that we still haven't really cracked in marketing. And so it's really hard to determine the ROI and whether you should be investing your time and money in making marketing multifaceted and multidimensional.
For sure. A lot of the KPIs that we set for our teams, right, include these things that want to make us better. And
Yes.
and I think, you've been doing quite well, Cath, in your role to be able to see such progress already, like with the campaign that you mentioned a while ago. So I now want to see, like, how does your company stay ahead of its competitors in terms of marketing?
Another great question. And, what I always say is I'm an ex-Amazonian. I was 5 years at Amazon, and I grew up of the school of Jeff Bezos. And the one thing that Bezos used to always say to us is focus on the customer rather than the competitor. And I still believe this to be so true. If you're more focused on solving the pain points of what your customers are facing on a daily basis and showing how you are the antidote to the problem that they have, then that's a much better use of your time and effort. But at the same time, when it comes to competitors in our space as well, we really are all fighting for the same customer at the end of the day. So if you can find some secret sauce, something that makes you stand out from the crowd, and that could be customer centricity, then that, I think, is the secret sauce to outdo the competitors.
That secret sauce, I can't wait to find that too. But yeah, you provided really good points here. And that is dependent on what the future would look like. So my next question goes, in your opinion, what does the future of marketing look like?
Marketing, I think the reason why I love it so much is that every day is a school day. Everything is always changing in marketing, and you have to be on top of that as a good CMO, or even just as a good passionate marketer. You need to understand the changes and the trends that are happening on an ongoing basis. And I have a very, very big goal that I'm setting myself and my team at Flintfox, which is to have 60% of our marketing function in some way automated by the end of 2025. And that means using tools like AI in a lot of ways to try and help me do so. Now, I don't think that AI is here to replace a person, because great storytelling needs to come from somewhere to be injected into a machine in order to create the AI suggestions off the back end of that. So you need a really good driver at the steering wheel of your AI. But I just think that in order to save, time and money and to get more measurable, AI is going to play an absolute core role in making us more efficient, more effective, and more cost efficient as well as marketers in the future.
Yeah, efficiency and adaptability, two of the great things that we need to have as leaders. And, as a leader, I wanted to ask, what is the role of the head of marketing for you in one word, and why?
I'm going to say polymath, but in New Zealand, we call that a jack of all trades. So I think, as a marketer, alongside of the CEO, the CMO is the only person who really has to touch and impact and influence everybody across an organization. It's from finance to the product team to the dependency that sales has upon us. So we need to have this really, really extensive breadth of knowledge about every single part of our business, which means we have to be a polymath or a jack of all trades inside of an organization.
I love how you summarized it all. I definitely agree with that. You really have to have these different assets that would help you, because you don't only influence people inside, your company, but it's also outside, right? And lastly, I want to ask, what career advice would you like to share with other marketing leaders?
So as a marketer, I'm probably more on the fluffy, creative side of the fence. But over the course of the 25 years of my career, I've had to get more and more closer and down and dirty in the data. But what I would say is that data gets you 80% of the way, but what gets you that other 20% and what sets marketers apart from others is that 20% gut, going with your gut. It still plays such an instinctive role in making really, really great marketing. So 80% data, 20% gut always.